Do you find yourself getting bored with your character midway through a D&D campaign? Do you have issues forming connections with the other player characters? Or do you find yourself unable to connect with the plot of your campaign?
We can help.
Yes, we can. So basically, we have 5 steps for character creation in order to help you make a character that you're going to enjoy for the entire campaign.
All right.
So, step 1, make a character that has history.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. This is kind of an obvious one. If you want your backstory included into the campaign, make a backstory. But make sure that you have in-depth and that you have stuff that you care about. Because if you don't have something that you care about in the campaign, then you're not going to have something you care about in the campaign. It kind of makes sense there.
For sure. You want your character to have done something before the campaign where it's just like, maybe you had a job. Maybe you came from wherever, a small village. Maybe you came from a big city. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you worked with some bandits. Who knows?
My personal favorite is a bartender.
Oh, yeah.
If I was previously a bartender in this town and then I decided to adventure myself, something like that. And then you can even incorporate explanations of the interactions you had in the town. Just giving your DM stuff to work with often leads to stuff that you can encounter in your D&D game.
It's also fun to work your feats into that if you're playing like a variant human that starts with a feat. If you were a bartender or worked in a kitchen before that, you could take the chef feat. It's really fun.
Absolutely.
That leads us into number 2, which is making a character with bonds.
Connections, absolutely. If you can incorporate something like, I had a former lover, or I had been seeing a crime happening in front of me and I'm a witness to something. It doesn't even have to be something big. It can be, my mom runs the bakery in the nearby shop.
And that leads into so much more roleplay because when you're in that town, you have a place to go. You have NPCs that you know. And you can have bonds with NPCs. You could have bonds with other players. You could say, hey, I once did a job with this other player character. Or this other player character is my sister.
Yeah.
That leads to more interesting roleplay and tightly bonds the party together, as well as lets you interact with the world.
Oh yeah.
And they don't have to be good bonds either. Like, by good bonds, I mean, they don't have to be friends of yours. Maybe you crossed some bandits or you used to work for a smuggling operation, then you burned them, and now all of a sudden you don't know what's going to happen if you come across them again. Are they going to attack you? Are they going to, try to kill you or turn you into the authorities? Who knows?
Like, you can even have an ex of yours come back and then it's kind of awkward because you're like, oh, hi, hi. And those are the kind of moments that people love in D&D.
And those are all things that you as the player have the capacity to put into your backstory that the DM can then use in the campaign. Number 3 is going to be make a character that has goals.
Yes, something to strive for, something to achieve. Sometimes people can create characters where they say, I just want to adventure, which kind of leads it up to how good the DM can do to construct your story, and leaving it entirely up to them can lead to some conflicts of miscommunications of what the two of you want. The best kind of thing is just to come up front and explain, this is what my character wants, and this is why.
For sure. Even just in your backstory, listing them, bullet points. Here are the things that my character is looking to do or figure out or accomplish in their life. And the DM can work into the campaign ways for you to work towards that.
It can be as big as, I want to seize my destiny and see and pray at my god's favorite temple and achieve enlightenment. Or it can be as small as I want to try blueberry muffins. I've been told that the blueberry muffins are different in each town, and I would like to try every single blueberry muffin.
And that's fun. It's not huge, but it's just a fun thing. And all the other players, when you get to a new town, are going to be like, okay, where's the blueberry muffins?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's number 3, creating a character with goals. Whether they're big or small, it's going to give your character more depth and more playability across the entire campaign. Which leads us into rule number 4, or tip number 4, which is making a character with flaws.
Oh, absolutely. These can be also big, these can be also small. It's just when you make them good, it can make the entire campaign have a theme. Like, I once played a character whose flaw was he was cursed with an arm that was kind of shriveled and dead. And he was proudly wearing it. It was like, I sustained this curse long ago, and it became I can't open a door because, my arm. However, you can also make it, I'm too trusting. And you can obviously see that if you roleplay it hard enough, like, this obviously bad guy that the DM is obviously letting you know is a bad guy, you can roleplay it as, alright, you want to take my stuff so that I can, like, carry this for me? Alright, it's good to see you.
No, I love those kind of flaws. I love the big flaws and the small flaws. The flaws that you can improve on and the flaws that you can't. So maybe your character just is too trusting and they're just like, the bad guy's like, here, come over to this secret shady warehouse in the middle of the night. You're like, yeah,
Okay.
totally, that sounds great. That's a flaw that over the course of the campaign, the character growth, you can kind of like start to grow as a character out of that flaw. And then there are just the flaws that are just like, maybe your character's lactose intolerant or gets seasick or just, we had a character in one of my campaigns that was allergic to wheat pollen. And so they were traveling through the fields of wheat and he was just, every once in a while, the player was just going,
Sneezing.
and it's fun. Yeah, so that making flaws for your character makes a more in-depth character that's more interactive across the campaign, just like every other one of the things that we're giving as tips on this video.
You can also do the reverse with the trusting, which is you can make your character not trust anybody, not even needing to make insight checks, just assume that everyone is lying. You need to be able to roleplay with this, not just shutting down players and shutting down characters, but being able to say, we can't trust anybody, can lead to some interesting interactions with players that also believe that we can trust everybody.
For sure. Which leads us into number 5, which is making a character that has questions. Things that they don't know, things you're trying to figure out. What maybe in your backstory, maybe you're like a classic D&D thing is like your family was killed or attacked or your village was attacked, you don't know who did it, and now you're looking for those answers over the course of the campaign. Maybe your sister was carried off by some bandits and you're trying to find her and you don't know where she went. Maybe your family was split up and your brother was adopted by someone and you're going to go on a quest to find them over the course of the campaign.
Yes. The way that this helps the DM is to have him be able, or them, or her, have them be able to work with whatever you give them. If you list everything out as a fact, then they're going to be stuck without anything to do. You're going to know all the answers, you're not going to be able to experience it as it happens. If you give your DM the capacity to make alterations, you give them the chance to explore and be excited for the next session because you don't know what's going to happen.
For sure. And this is basically the concept of leaving your backstory open for the DM to make changes to, open for them to introduce new concepts that you don't know as a character from your backstory. Leave things for the DM to work with so that you as a player are surprised. Because it's really fun when you are running through a campaign as a player and you start to meet those people that you had bonds with from your backstory and all of a sudden just like, oh my gosh, my sister is the big bad.
That was me.
What?
You did that to me.
What? What DM would do that to their player? Huh? Yeah. Anyway, leaving questions for your character in the backstory gives you the opportunity to be surprised as a character, but also as a player in the campaign, which is very, very fun. So basically that is our 5 steps to making a better character that's going to give you more interaction and more depth over the course of the campaign.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope you found these tips helpful.
So until next time, let's make every game legendary. Do you find yourself getting bored with your D&D character midway through your campaign? Do you have issues
Do you have issues? Do you have
issues? No,
Because
we're
D&D
starting.
is right for you.
All right. So I'm going to say all of this, and then you're going to say we can help, and then I'll get into the main
Yes.
thing of the video.
We can help!
That's right, Kevin.